Behind Hollywood's glimmering red carpets and gold trophies lies a much different world, one full of oversized egos, broken loyalties, and behind-the-scenes tension the public rarely sees. Publicists work overtime to spin harmony, but the truth is, movie sets often tell a very different story. Few actors have walked through those storms with more steady footing than Kevin Costner. Across more than 40 years, from the Untouchables to Yellowstone, Costner built a reputation for arriving prepared, saying what he means, and keeping the focus on the work itself. That kind of backbone has made him widely respected, but it's also brought him face to face with some of Hollywood's most volatile personalities. Today, we're stepping into those hidden rooms. We'll uncover 9 figures whose paths collided with Costner's, encounters that reveal just how turbulent life behind the camera can be. These aren't petty spats. They're revealing windows into what people are really like when the spotlight fades. Stay with me. What follows may shock you more than anything you've ever seen on screen. In 1987, Costner and Sean Young shared the screen in the thriller No Way Out. On paper, the pairing looked promising, but insiders say the atmosphere quickly soured. Young's unpredictable behavior on set disrupted filming and rattled her co-star. Once the camera stopped rolling, things reportedly turned darker. Young was said to have developed an unhealthy fixation on Costner, turning up at events uninvited, forcing awkward encounters and, according to industry chatter, even damaging his personal property. Normally diplomatic, Costner broke his usual silence. He refused to ever work with her again, publicly labeling her unprofessional, a rare move for someone who tends to hold his tongue. And then came the now infamous stunt. Young marching into Tim Burton's office in a homemade Catwoman suit to campaign for Batman Returns. The bizarre spectacle backfired, cementing her reputation as unpredictable. Mental health struggles may well have fueled this behavior, and that deserves compassion. But for Costner, the issue was clear. Stability on set is non-negotiable. His refusal wasn't petty, it was self-protection. When Costner agreed to play Jim Garrison in JFK, he treated the role with his characteristic reverence for American history. Director Oliver Stone, however, has always thrived on provocation. On set, sharp debates flared between the two. Stone leaned on conspiracy-driven storytelling, bending facts for narrative punch. Costner pushed back, arguing that even in dramatization, historical truth deserved respect. Crew members described the atmosphere as tense. You could cut the air with a knife. Still, both men kept their professionalism intact. In the end, JFK earned 8 Academy Award nominations, including Best Director for Stone. But the question they fought over still lingers. How far should a filmmaker go in rewriting history for the sake of a story? Costner and director Kevin Reynolds once looked like a dream team. Their 1991 hit, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, was a worldwide smash. But just a few years later, their partnership unraveled spectacularly. On Waterworld, originally budgeted at $100 million, the production spiraled toward $175 million of storms. Mechanical failures and endless delays pushed everyone to the edge. Costner, both star and producer, grew more hands-on. Reynolds, feeling undermined, finally snapped. Partway through shooting, after a heated disagreement, Reynolds reportedly walked off set, muttering, "Kevin should direct it. He's already directing the actor, the camera, and himself." With 2/3 of the film unfinished, Costner had no choice but to take control. Their friendship, once so promising, was gone. It was a cautionary tale of how stress, money, and ego can capsize even the strongest creative bond. Sometimes feuds don't need months to form. They can ignite in moments. During Madonna's Truth or Dare tour in the early 1990s, Kevin Costner, fresh off his Dances with Wolves triumph, visited backstage. He offered what he thought was a polite compliment, calling her show neat. As soon as he left, Madonna rolled her eyes, gagged dramatically, and said into the camera, "Anyone who says my show is neat has to go." The clip was seen by millions. Costner later admitted to Barbara Walters that he didn't care much for her after that. It was more than a personal slight. It was a clash of two very different public personas: Madonna's provocative rebellion against Costner's sincere Midwestern politeness. When Costner directed and starred opposite Robert Duvall in Open Range, 2003, audiences saw two masters at work. Behind the curtain, it was another story. Duvall reportedly resisted second billing and challenged Costner's dual role as star and director. Costner, in turn, called Duvall the most stubborn man I've ever directed. And yet, neither man let the friction derail the project. They could argue fiercely one moment, then deliver seamless performances the next. Critics raved about their chemistry. It was proof that professionalism can override ego, even when two heavyweights collide. Sometimes the clearest lessons come from what didn't happen. Marlon Brando, brilliant but notoriously difficult, was once considered for The Untouchables, the role later played by Sean Connery. Costner, however, reportedly wanted no part of working with him. By then, Brando's reputation was infamous, refusing to learn lines, mocking directors, and delivering racist remarks that clashed with his public activism. Stories, from Apocalypse Now to The Score, showed the same pattern: genius wrapped in chaos. Costner summed it up simply: "I just don't trust that energy." Sometimes in Hollywood, the wisest move is to keep your distance. On The Bodyguard, 1992, Kevin Costner was Whitney Houston's greatest champion. He fought studio executives to cast her and stood by her as she stepped into her first film role. But insiders say her handlers became a wall, limiting rehearsals, brushing off concerns, and concealing deeper struggles with substance abuse. As producer, Costner stepped in during editing, carefully shaping her performance to protect her image. Years later, at her funeral in 2012, his eulogy hinted at what he had witnessed: not an unreliable star, but a vulnerable artist, let down by the people around her. Costner and Bruce Willis never worked together, and that in itself is telling. By the 2000s, Willis had developed a reputation for being combative and difficult. Kevin Smith, who directed him in Cop Out, described him as soul-crushing. Sybil Shepherd recalled tense days on Moonlighting. Producers whispered of short tempers and checked-out performances on quick paycheck films. Costner reportedly told a friend, "There's no room for people who destroy sets just to prove a point." In 2022, Willis's family revealed his aphasia diagnosis and retirement, casting some of his late career behavior in a new light. Even so, Costner's rule stands firm: surround yourself with collaborators who lift the work, not drag it down. With Alec Baldwin, Costner's concern is less personal and more about principle. Baldwin's decades-long record of outbursts, from paparazzi brawls to the infamous 2007 voicemail berating his daughter to a 2018 arrest over a parking space, have made headlines again and again. Then came the 2021 Rust tragedy, where a gun Baldwin handled discharged, killing cinematographer Helena Hutchins. Costner, known for his calm and family-first values, has reportedly remarked, "Some guys just don't deserve the second chances they keep getting." To him, Hollywood's willingness to overlook repeated volatility raises a deeper question: where should the line be? Together, these 9 accounts sketch a vivid portrait of Kevin Costner. He is not someone who courts drama, but he will set firm boundaries. He drew the line with Sean Young. He clashed with Oliver Stone over truth. He fought for Whitney Houston against enablers. He refused to work with chaotic figures like Brando, Willis, and Baldwin. With Duvall and Reynolds, he argued, but still delivered great work. With Madonna, he shrugged off her mockery and moved on. The bigger lesson is this: in Hollywood, reputations are as important as scripts. Who you agree to work with and who you quietly avoid can shape your career as much as any award. For Costner, longevity has come from choosing stability, protecting his collaborators, and putting the film above the ego. It hasn't always made him popular, but it has made him durable. If you found this glimpse behind the curtain eye-opening, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into Hollywood's untold stories, and tell us of these clashes which surprised you most. Thanks for walking with me through the messier, more human, and more revealing side of Hollywood, the part you won't see on the red carpet.